we'll have this discussion.
Discussion? What discussion?
This is a discussion combustion.
Coming to you from Denver, Colorado, this is Discussion Combustion Podcast with your hosts, Kevin Batstone and Arthur Raw.
With only a month left in summer, this is the final installment of the Summer Sizzle series. Got another great chef lined up. Man, we've been so fortunate to talk to these great chefs, enlighten us on the culinary arts, telling us a little bit about what goes on and being a celebrity chef and being on some of these programs, man. Just super cool. Great connections out there. Shout out to Alicia. Great for hooking us up with all of these great chefs. I mean, it wouldn't be possible without you. So tonight, we're welcoming Chef Trenton, man. You guys have seen him right now on season 20. Hell's Kitchen Young Guns. It's going on Fox Monday nights. We've been keeping tabs. The show's not over yet, but Trenton, getting ready to sit down with us.
Yeah, we're super excited for this conversation. We are so stoked to have all this talent and open up some conversations and have everybody give you guys a chance to get to know Trenton in a different way, because we just love sitting down, enjoying our time, and chatting with people, man.
That's what it's all about, man, is getting to know people, having some fun. Probably going to have a couple cold ones as usual. We're going to talk about who knows what. Most likely the culinary arts will be on the agenda. So, hey, man, welcome aboard. Joining us now via Zoom. Chef Trenton, how you getting on tonight, bud?
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, absolutely. Big shout out again to, is it Alicia? Is that how you say her name?
Yeah, Alicia Antonio.
Okay, yeah, because I don't know if it was, dude, she's great.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's fantastic.
She's been a big help getting us in contact with you and a lot of these other guys. So, big shout out to her.
Makes my life so much easier. Oh my God, so much easier.
Makes our life easier too, man. She just keeps saying like, hey, you guys want to talk to this person, that person?
Everyone's been super chill thus far, so no expectations, man.
No pressure, Trenton. So
I'm messing with you.
Anyhow, yeah, welcome aboard.
Everybody's counting on you. No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure.
You got this. You're just trying to land on the moon.
Just another Zoom call.
Being in the 60s. Yeah. So are we all firm believers that the moon landing happened in this room, in this conversation?
I mean,
we're going to start off on that, huh?
Yeah, I want to say it did. I
mean, I think that that's one of those dicey situations. Depending on who you talk to, some people get upset. They might start throwing things. But based on what I've heard and kind of seen, I've never met Buzz Aldrin or any of those guys. But I mean, it looked legit.
I think.
Have you ever seen a bird, Buzz Aldrin, in the same room? Are either one real?
The birds,
what's going on?
Yeah. Have you heard of this whole
the bird conspiracy?
Birds are robots.
Nuts. Yeah, who was it? We were talking about that with the bird conspiracy. It was somebody that brought that up to us.
I don't know, man.
I can't remember, but yeah, I've heard that they're like battery programmed or something.
Yeah, that the birds are not real.
Yeah, what's going on?
I was joking about this yesterday at the restaurant, and then we just got a new massive tub of red pepper flakes. I opened up the tub of red pepper flakes. There's 2 feathers on top. I'm like, they're listening. This is them listening. No, never do you get 5 pounds of red pepper flakes and there's feathers in there. We got to send this back. It's the birds. It's the birds, man.
It's the birds, man. They're up to something.
I mean, and they are everywhere. So you got to be cautious. You really got to be cautious.
I never thought I was gonna have to watch my back for birds, but apparently I need to sharpen up.
Yeah.
You never know. It's 2021, so you never know what's watching here.
And here's the crazy thing, Trent, is that 2022 is 4 months away. How scary is that?
That's reality.
Man.
It's right there, man.
It's going quicker.
You ready for it?
No, I don't think so. I wasn't ready for 2021, but here we are. I mean, sometimes you just got to dive in, right?
The year before kind of got scrubbed for us a little bit, and this one a little bit, but we'll make the best out of it.
That's all we can do is just try to make the best of every day.
That's all we got.
I mean, and
that's why we're
doing
here.
Fantastic, man. You're working hard. You're out there getting it, doing promotional things, and fantastic chef. Obviously, is there like a favorite dish that you have?
Ooh, favorite dish.
Yeah, like your absolute favorite to cook. Like this one is, you kind of think about it for weeks on end. And you're like, man, I've just been looking forward to this, and you're really just what is.
Do you guys ever just get hyped up for a good steak night? Because that's not something you ever bring into your house.
Yes.
But like, when you just get hyped up just to make put a whole lot of finesse into just making like a couple fillets or like a beautiful ribeye. I mean, that gets me excited. When I come home and my fiance's got some steaks and she's like, "Hey babe, steak night." I'm like, "Let's go."
Yes.
But there's other dishes that like stick to your heart. Like my grandma makes a pozole. That's always something to look forward to for the holidays.
What was it?
Pozole.
Pozole. It's like a
It's a hominy
hominy
dish.
and a hominy and
What,
it's
I
like
don't know
a
what hominy is.
it's like a lime swollen corn, like a
Okay.
bursted corn, and
Interesting.
yeah, it's that stewed down with usually like a pork butt and like a red chili powder on it, and so it's like it makes like a really nice rich red broth and really good cold weather dish, but it's one of those that I grew up eating all the time because my grandma made it.
It's a good dish. The first time I had it was when I moved out here to Colorado because it's a little spicier out here. I'm from New England originally, so different cuisines. But I remember the first time I had it, I was hungover, and somebody told me that it was a great
Perfect.
hangover dish because you're going to sweat out, you're going to feel good. It's a warming food, and man, it did. It kicked the hangover right out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like to play around with it. We've done it on like a few iterations of it at the restaurant, and I'll take the pork and put it into dumplings instead, and then kind of like fry up the dumplings, and then take the hominy, cook it, turn that into like a pico de gallo, and so that way everything's a little bit different. Some cabbage in there. Oof,
Man,
keep
That
it.
sounds really good.
A little bit guajillo oil on there. Oof. But yeah, no,
Oh no,
it gets
you
me
can go.
excited.
yeah. Well, I mean, anytime I get to talk to you chefs, because I'm not a chef, every time I talk to you guys, I learn something and I get extremely hungry. So usually after we get done talking to one of you guys, it's like, okay, what do you want to go eat?
Yeah,
Because it's
for
all these
sure.
great ideas. And then I go home and try to do cooking. And sometimes I do okay, but I'll be honest with you, Trent, I'm just not that good. I've been doing this. I've been trying this home chef. My girlfriend, I've been doing that where they kind
Is
of,
that like one of those boxes?
yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
gave it a go. What I like about it is, it's a kind of a step-by-step thing, beginner entry into cooking, but it kind of teaches you how to combine ingredients and make different sauces and drizzles and rubs and what spices pair well with what. So I'd consider myself a very novice chef, try to learn the game a bit.
See, but that's fun. I mean, that's fun. They kind of tell you what to do, give you some ideas. You can work from there.
Yeah.
I don't know how prepped it is for you. I mean, is it like super prepped, or are you still throwing
it
some
comes
of
in
it
like
together?
portions and stuff. Like you have.
Yeah, it gives you
Like,
the
is
meat,
everything
the
already
produce.
diced, or?
No, it gives you the whole produce.
Okay,
So
so
a whole
that's
pepper, a
fun.
whole onion, garlic. You got to press. So it's kind of fun.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all about that.
But going back
You
to
can still get a little creative with it.
Totally.
But your steak, because I agree with the steak. And one thing that pairs with the steak, and tell me, it's mashed potatoes. Like I
So-
gotta have some good mashed potatoes.
Right
with
there in
it.
my head. Yeah, and I usually try to cut a little bit of the carbs at home. So like when I'm gonna
Okay.
eat when I'm gonna eat some mashed potatoes, like I'm gonna eat some mashed potatoes, loading them up with the butter, loading them up with the heavy cream. So yeah, no, that's always like I'm always like, oh, let's try to eat some greens or something fresh along the side. Let's not like end the day with so much carbs. So when I do get that steak and potatoes for dinner, it's like, oh my God, so good.
So what veggie is going on that plate? Because I want to see some green beans or spinach personally.
Yeah, green
Broccoli.
beans, cream spinach would be fire. Just some simple grilled asparagus is always good.
Yes.
Simple grilled. I mean, that's like my biggest cop out when I'm making dinner. I'm like, you know what? Here's a pile of grilled spinach or grilled arugula, or not arugula, but oh my God, asparagus, like a pile of grilled asparagus,
Yeah.
with a little lemon on it, like nothing really crazy, some olive oil, some salt, but it's like the quickest dinner ever.
So good too. It's like the three of the best things: meat, potatoes, and veggie. I usually do broccoli, like a steamed broccoli, or maybe
For sure.
boiled up, a little bit of butter, garlic, a little salt. That always goes good
I've-
on steak night as well.
Finally invested in a steamer basket, and it's made life so much easier. Like so much easier. Oh man, every night just throw whatever I want in there. Bam.
Steam it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about
Steam
like
it up.
the air cookers, like
The air fryers.
the air fryers? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Have you messed with those?
I tried to use one once. Somebody gave me one, and that was the last time I used it. I used it once, made some fries in, but
No good.
I need to get better at it. I overloaded it, and then I was like, the one I have is so small, so it was like half a portion of fries in it, and I was like, I'm not gonna spend money on another one. I have like a deep fryer, so I'm like, nah.
Yeah,
I guess I'll do it. But when
It's hard to beat,
when I get going on a deep fryer, when you get going on a deep fryer, like, oh, I got to use this every day. and then you clean it and you're like, I'm not going to use this anymore.
So there's like no absolute way to actually have a healthy, I know it's a silly question, but deep fried foods, right? You can't, there's no healthy way to make it if you're deep frying it. Does that just ruin the health of it, anything?
I mean, I'd say it does. I mean, for the most part, but it also makes it delicious. So, I mean,
So
how happy
good.
do you want to be at the end of the day?
That's,
I know, right?
Do you want to be
where it
happy
comes
with
in.
your diet, or do you want to be happy with how delicious the thing that you just ingested was?
I know, right?
That's the balance. That's the balance between trying to feel good, but then also
Yeah.
feeling good from that delicious cuisine. Because anything you throw in that hot oil, I don't care what it is, man. I got into fried pickles that way because we were just throwing whatever we had. I got a commercial deep fryer, and the biggest mistake I made was putting frozen wings straight in there, and that son of a bitch bubbled over
Oh,
and damn
no.
near ruined my kitchen.
Shit.
Well, this looks like a good place to take a break in the action to tell you about CBD. That's right, Mountain Made CBD. You're going to use promo code DCPC to save 20% off your entire order, anything on the website. The clearest, the purest, the most affordable CBD on the market.
Man, you got to love this product. Honestly, the company is doing big things as well. They're available nationwide, so wherever you are, you can get Mountain Made delivered to your door or even on your shelf if you're a store that's looking to have excellent CBD products. Again, mountainmadecbd.com is where you're going to go, and that is #GoLikeHell.
Go like hell, baby. Today's episode is also brought to you by Wild Outdoor Adventures. That's WOAMEET.com.
Absolutely. Now, when you're rolling through the state of Colorado, or you're already here and you want to get to know people, hope for teens, hope for veterans, get to know fantastic people that go out and travel this beautiful state on the trails.
It's a great way to meet people, man. It's free and easy to use website, free to sign up. Go ahead and start blogging with people immediately. They're going to tell you the trails to go to, maybe the trails to stay away from, and just meet some great people along the way. Check out their YouTube channel. Kev does a great job at documenting a lot of these adventures so you can kind of see what you're getting into before you go truly trekking these trails.
And that is less dreaming and more exploring.
Let's get back to the action.
Oh man,
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Oh.
deep fried pickles,
So good.
always a go-to. Always go-to.
It's that sweet and tangy,
So,
good.
but the discs, not the spears.
Spears are tough.
Yeah. I
Can
mean,
we
like,
agree on that?
I've had one experience with spears that I was like, these are good, and I felt like it was just because the breading held up. Like the breading was like thick enough and they were thin enough.
Mm-hmm.
But when there's just like that molting hot interior in the middle and then the outside soggy, there's no point in eating the spears. So that's why the pickle chips are so good. It's like the perfect balance of actual crispy crust to the mushy interior. So it's like it's a tough road, but I'd say chips all day.
Yeah, I'm going chips on that.
Hands down. When you're going fried pickles, you got to go with the chips. It's
So-
easier to throw in,
Ranch for sure on the side.
ranch.
Yeah, ranch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ranch is the go-to. I know, some folks mess with the blue cheese. I don't hate blue cheese, but I'm going ranch.
One
Yeah,
thing I was
yeah, I know.
addicted to at the beginning of, I was going to say the beginning of the pandemic. I had obviously done it much, much more than this in my life. But ranch with a little bit of Louisiana hot sauce, and that's for pizza. That's what you do with your pizza.
Yes, sir. I like some Franks. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Frank's is pretty good,
So-
man.
as a chef, I eat a lot of frozen pizza. I cook all day and then I go home and I'm like, I get home, I'm like, I gotta be back at work in like 8 hours. So I'm just gonna throw this pizza in the oven. And you guys ever had St. Louis style pizza? Is that something you guys ever messed around with?
I can't.
I don't think I've had St. Louis. I mean, Chicago, all the big hitters I've had, but what makes
Yeah.
it a St. Louis style?
Yeah, I don't think.
So I as I've talked to people, because I've lived in this area, I actually lived in Arkansas, but I moved up here when I was 13 and found out about St. Louis style pizza. And I'm like, how is this not more of a thing? People either love it or they absolutely hate it. So it's like a really thin cracker crust. It's its own cheese. It's called provolone, Swiss, white cheddar, sometimes some Munster in there, but its own cheese,
liking this
super
already.
creamy cheese, and it's like loaded with toppings. Usually the sausage goes on raw because the
Okay.
pizza's so thin, and it like kind of cooks in there, and some of the grease kind of goes into the sauce, but it'll get like brown on top, really crispy on the bottom, and then like this Velveeta creamy cheesy goodness. So it's its own thing
With
entirely.
the Velveeta,
and
that's the interesting part, isn't it?
It's not Velveeta. It's called Provel, but it's a cheese loaf. It's like a little bit firmer than Velveeta, but it melts and has a similar mouthfeel. But then they'll throw like some Asiago and just some oregano on top. But in St. Louis, it's like, oh, we're getting pizza, and it's always St. Louis style pizza. And the more and more I've talked to people, the more and more I found out it's like, this is like really hyper local. Like people don't know a whole lot about it, but it's like it's really good. Like late night, you've had some beers and you need some pizza now. It's good. It's good.
Man, it makes me want to try it for sure, because I love pizza, and especially thin crust. You had me right there from the thin crust. Like Mod, I love their style.
Yeah.
And even like now, instead of the, pan pizzas are great and thick crust and stuff. I like the traditional, but there's something about it. The thin crust, you really can take in the ingredients more, I feel like.
Yes.
It's not being bombarded by all that bread,
Mhm.
Yeah, and
So,
the thing about St. Louis styles, they're supposed to be like a topping in every bite,
Yeah,
So
you get a little bit of everything in every bite.
Yeah. And the sauce and cheese goes all the way to the crust. There's no crust on it. The sauce and cheese goes all the way to the edges.
Interesting.
So like every bite is a slice of pizza, like a full, it's cut into squares too, which would make it completely different.
I feel like I've had something similar, but never that St. Louis style. And I want to know how far, because you said it's kind of regional or local to that area. Like if you get to Kansas City or even
I
east
think
of there.
there's an Emo's in KC, I believe.
Okay.
Emo's is like the quintessential St. Louis style pizza, but I mean, it's good. I worked there for a while. If you go there, make sure you get it well done. That's like the trade secret. Like get that thing well done, because then it's like real nice and crispy. But it's just like it's the thin crust and the Provel cheese that really encapsulates St. Louis style pizza.
Really? I don't think I've had that, and I'm very interested to try it. Now, are you doing that pizza frozen too, you're saying?
There's some, so just as of recently, Emo's is selling them frozen.
Okay.
I think they're about to start shipping national, so that's pretty cool.
Cool.
But yeah, there's a couple people that are just now like coming out with frozen St. Louis style pizzas, and they really they're doing a good job. So, oh man, they are good.
Yeah, because I'm also on that. I mean, no shame to having some frozen pizzas from time to time, and some it's, what's my top 5? What's my top 10? I don't know if I'm going to name it out now, but it's interesting to figure out what your top frozen pizzas are. And that's something I've been doing in the past couple months.
It really does depend on how hammered I am, where I'm located, and what my budget is.
Oh, for your rating?
Yeah. I mean, those are all contributing factors to what frozen pizza we're dealing with. Am I on a budget this week? Then we're going to scale.
Yes, sir.
I mean, we sometimes you got to go with like a Red Baron, which
Those
is still one of my favorite,
top 5.
but they're affordable.
That's in the top 5 still.
Yeah. They're affordable, and it's like they have like a soft spot in your heart, Like I've been here, I've done this. This reminds me of a time and a place, I've been here.
It is always refreshing though to hear. I've talked to so many chefs now, and they all kind of have that same mentality too. Like I just cooked all day, I just want to come home, pop a pizza in the oven, and I'm kicking back for a little, me time.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes total sense.
Sit down, have a beer, and wait for that delicious mouth scalding goodness.
And that's a test. I
know, man. I've learned the hard way too many times. You're so anxious to have that first bite, and it's just scalding underneath there, man.
You wake up the next morning like, why is the top of my tongue or top of my mouth ruined?
I hate that feeling, but we've all done it.
So I'm going. Pepperoni is obviously going to be a classic amongst many, but I've really been getting into like the sausage pizzas. I like going with those. What's your favorite type of pizza beyond the the traditional type of pizzas outside of the St. Louis style?
Like
supreme or like pepperoni or like custom meats.
If there was a St. Louis style pizza, like a quintessential St. Louis style pizza toppings, it's a deluxe, which is like, it's always really good. It's mushrooms, pepperoni, sausage. It's pretty much a supreme pepper with supreme without the olives. But if I'm like ordering from like Domino's or Pizza Hut, I'm usually getting a sausage and mushroom. Sausage and mushrooms usually where it's at.
Hitter. That's my go-to,
yeah,
bro.
That or pepperoni and pineapple.
Really? Do you do the pineapple?
Yeah. So how do you guys feel about pineapple?
Let's start that discussion. Let's dive into this.
Well,
let's divide. Yeah.
I mean,
go.
I know it sounds weird, but I've had the whole pineapple pizza growing up a bunch of times, and I always thought it was good. Do I ever order that for myself? I don't, but I can't knock it because I actually do like it, but I don't ever order it, so I don't know where that puts me.
I think that's a fair analysis. I remember in school, every Friday was pizza day, or we had the Italian dunkers, which was really just cheese sauce on breadsticks, and they call it Italian dunkers. And the cheese was like you could just rip the cheese off, and it was just bread that was soggy as hell. And
sounds delicious.
But part of the pizza day was
I'm starving now.
Yeah, I know. Italian dunkers and marinara. Go get it. But they would do the Hawaiian stuff. So, the traditional diced ham and pineapples. That was my first time having pineapple on pizza. That combination, the original Hawaiian style, I think is good. When you start to like combo the pineapple with other ingredients, I think that's where I get a little dicey.
Yeah, it has to go with the Canadian bacon.
I just feel like if you do pineapple, like my one I'll usually get is like pineapple, pepperoni, jalapeno. And you got something spicy, then you got like some greasy pepperoni, something else a little bit spicy, and then you got that pineapple to cut the sweetness. It's like it needs to happen. I feel like it's just
I see your symphony.
Pretty close to perfection.
They say a lot of things come in threes, and you're dialing it in there, chef.
Yeah.
I mean, all the different. I got to try
garlic crust.
I've never had that. I've never had that before.
No,
so,
it makes sense when you pair it that way, because now you've got your salty with the pep, you've got the sweet with the pineapple, and then your heat with the jalapeno. That's gold.
Jalapeno.
This guy, don't even get me into how he says things, and he gives me a hard time because whatever I'm saying.
Yeah, well, it's part of life.
Hey, but it's good to have friends, man. And I feel like we're making a friend tonight. But we did have a quick would you rather. And this one is just taking it down to basics. Like, you can't have your St. Louis pizza anymore. I'm sorry. Because you got to pick between, are you giving up bread for life, or are you giving up cheese for life?
Dang. Oh man. That's a tough one, because you got to have bread for sandwiches, and you got to have cheese for sandwiches. So I don't know. I'd give up bread because there's so many great cheeses out there. Like I was in LA last week working at this Italian place, Austria Angelini, and I realized how much Italian season with Parmesan. Like this needs more salt. I'm like, this needs more salt, man. And they're like, no, just put more Parmigiano Reggiano in there. I'm like, boom. I didn't think about that. Like the umami of it, like how milky and delicious, and like just coat your palate. I'm like, yeah, it makes more sense than just putting kosher salt in that for sure. But that was like one of those revelations for me, at least within this past week. Like, cheese is great. It's a seasoning agent. It's just delicious by itself. It has so much technique put into it. Cheese for sure.
Cheese. I like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that. That's a tough would you rather, or what would you give up? Because bread, like you said, I mean, some people are bread people, and they're like, I'm not giving up. You're talking, toast. You're talking all kinds of sandwiches. I mean, things go out the window. But cheese, I've been doing those cheesewiches here lately. Where you can wrap a huge piece of, whether it's provolone or like a marble around some meats and eat it that way. So you can kind of substitute the bread with cheese. And I agree with you, Trent. I mean, just whether it's melted cheese, whether it's, imported cheese, there's some great flavor combinations there.
That is true.
Oh yeah.
I mean, don't get it wrong. Like all the French breads and all the different type of breads out there. I mean, but you could, even cook cheese to be hard and solidified and almost make a bread out of the cheese.
Yeah, like a cheese crisp almost, like Parmesan crisp, cheddar crisp. Yeah,
something like that. So, I mean, I'm going to go with cheese too. We're unanimous on this one. I mean, I love bread and a good sandwich like you were talking about. It just makes me wonder, like, when you dive deeper, though, like carbs in general, like, the pastas and, all of that sort of really good stuff. And do bagels disappear? I know the pastas won't disappear, but do bagels disappear? Like, I don't know. It depends.
I mean, bagel is like quintessentially just like a partially boiled bread, so for sure.
Yeah, no bagels.
Which is tough, because that was what I had for breakfast this morning. I went with an everything bagel with a smear. It's delicious.
Bread and cheese.
With one smear.
It's bread and cheese.
You just have the cheers. You just have the cheese for breakfast.
Yeah,
No.
I guess I'll just eat
Oh,
cream
boy.
cheese with a spoon in substitution for my bagel.
Get the lox one, at least then you're getting something else in it.
Oh, there's salmon in
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty good. I like the lox cream cheese on a jalapeno bagel. That's the jam. That's the bomb.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
I don't eat enough bagels. Really. I don't eat enough bagels at all.
Do you do like bagel sandwiches at all? Like,
So there was I was hungover. I was going into work last week in LA, and my buddy's like, "Oh, you got to go to Yum Yums." So it's a donut spot, but they had bagels. And I was like, I can't eat anything sweet right now, man. And it was an everything bagel, but it wasn't like the New York Chew bagel. It was like really soft and pillowy. And I got a sausage, egg, and cheese between that. Oh man, it was great, but it was only great because like it wasn't like that New York bagel that's like has that chew and bite to it. It was just so soft and pillowy and made sense as a bun. And if I'm gonna eat it as a sandwich on a bagel, it's got to be like a softer bagel. It can't be like the good New York style bagel. That's got to be eaten just as like a with cream cheese on it, two
open
halves.
face. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, because when you start talking bagel sandwich and you get those layers of a fried egg,
squeeze
or
it all
bacon.
out.
Yeah, because when it's that tough, you take a bite and it just shoots out the back end. I mean, what are we doing?
Well,
then?
your holding technique is off at that point. Like,
Is it though?
Yeah, you gotta figure
like,
out
cup
how
it
to
from the
hold
back.
this thing. Yeah, you can.
You got to hold your bagel high.
To everybody out there,
Here we go.
you get your pinkies involved in this grab, right? So you have your main hands, the pinkies get involved. You have napkins for a reason.
So this is like the expert level of a Guitar Hero when the pinky gets involved.
Have you ever been sick of shit shooting out the backside of your sandwich? I have been. So I changed the way I ate my sandwich. You can do it too. No.
Maybe we need to go in and like design the perfect hand device to hold in the back of your sandwich. Like a mesh, like a finger trap to eat your sandwich with.
That's the idea right there that we're gonna have to pitch on Shark Tank. I mean, someone's gonna invest in it.
It's a silicone finger trap.
The best one though, okay, is you just hollow out a roll and then just eat the roll hollowed out. That's always a fantastic one. And it's always with like some mashed potatoes.
Oh, like a bread bowl?
No, but like the little rolls that you get for like Thanksgiving or whatever.
Oh,
yeah.
Like dinner rolls, for sure.
You hollow those out. You make mini sandwiches with the mashed potato and like some
the King's
green
Hawaiian
beans.
rolls.
Yeah,
those are bomb.
Delicious things. Yeah.
So you guys eating like eating some coleslaw at your at the Thanksgiving dinner? Because for me it's like a weird thing to have, but I love having like mashed potatoes and gravy on the roll, but a little bit of coleslaw in there too. It's weird, but
no,
I gotta have it.
I would do it, and that you bring up a good point because everybody kind of has like a different tradition around their Thanksgiving meal, and I come from kind of a Polish background. So one thing we always had on the table growing up was something called kapusta. You ever heard of it?
No.
Yeah, it's a real simple dish. It's got a lot of flavor. It's sauerkraut, it's onions, and it's Polish sausage, and it just kind of
like kielbasa.
Yeah, exactly, kielbasa.
Oh, so
yep.
My great grandma, her parents Polish, and my grandma still makes her kielbasa and apple butter. You ever had that?
Oh, I don't think I've had that, but that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's so good because it's salty and it's sweet. Because kielbasa itself's already so salty,
It is.
So like when you eat it with the apple butter, it just like sings. It's so good.
Yeah, my mom did some homemade apple butter once with my aunt, and it was limited, and it was so delicious on everything. It just,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that. I'm gonna bring that up to mom too, because Polish dishes are kind of interesting. They're like a lot of cabbage based stuff.
For sure.
Stuffed cabbage rolls. Those are good. Pierogies. Man, I love it all.
Love some pierogies. Oh man.
Oh yeah. I mean, who doesn't love essentially a potato pastry stuffed with cheese?
Yeah. I mean, food. I mean, if you don't love food, I mean, food is just amazing. How could you not? That's something I'm trying to, get better control of, is just my portion control, because I enjoy it so much, and I just want more. But if we wanted to pair up two different foods that you have to pick from, so you can only cook one of these two cuisines for the rest of your life. right? It's Cuban food or Thai food.
Well, I mean, I'd have to go. I don't know a whole lot about, like, I'm not super knowledgeable on either, but I have to go with Thai food. Thai food, there's like the coconut, like curry broths, like there's so much more depth of flavor. I mean, I'm not trying to knock Cuban food, but I'm saying like it's so much more fun to explore the Thai food for me personally than I would like to dive into Cuban.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I don't know a whole lot about Cuban food either. I've eaten the usual stuff like Cubanos, Cuban fries, kind of that South Miami Beach kind of food. It's good, but you're right with Thai food, and my girlfriend kind of got me into it too because I wasn't real sure. But green curry, oh man, green curry and vegetables. Sometimes that shit is spicy as all get up, but it's delicious.
Like a spicy red coconut broth with the duck breast and just on rice. Oh man, that's like one of my favorites from the Thai restaurant. It's right next to the restaurant. Oh, now.
Come on. I'm probably going with that route too. It would be extremely difficult to master those culinary arts and like get that down and get that right. So I understand kind of what you're talking about there, but it'd be a good challenge to learn that. The green curry fried rice is one of my favorite dishes in that genre.
So good.
With a lot of veggies in it.
Man.
I like it with a lot of veggies in it too.
What's the soup I always get? Tom yum soup. Oof. With the fish balls in there.
Sounds
like
good.
That was something that like I was like, I don't know, fish balls, but once I had them the first time, I was like, okay, I get this.
What are like caviar or?
So fish balls, there's specific types of fish that they take and they like put it through a mesh strainer, like the flesh, and then they keep working it, and almost like gluten fibers in bread. They keep getting longer and longer protein fibers and protein structures, and it becomes like a dough, but it's just mashed fish, and they mash that into balls. They can do it with like shrimp and other stuff, but it is so good. Oh my God.
Hey. I've never heard of that. That sounds like an interesting process how they get there.
Does sound good.
Stretching it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
You got a couple dogs over there, don't you?
No, just one dog. She's just back and forth.
Oh.
She's big. Oh, now she's in here. She's like, "Oh, you're talking about me?"
Oh yeah, we see her.
Like, why are you just sitting in the chair and not paying attention to me?
We're staring at a ring, man. What's going on?
The humans have been taken by the light.
I was gone last week, and she was like, I came home, and she's like, "Oh my God, it's him again. How long's it been?"
Well, yeah. And
mine was blown.
You're at your restaurant, what, 12, 18 hours a day? I mean, just getting it done.
Yeah. Yesterday I was there for like 12 hours. I get a couple half days a week, like today. And, but yeah, no, I get home and she's like jumping up on me. She's like 105 pounds of love. So
what kind of
she
dog
jumps up on you. Great Pyrenees.
Oh,
nice.
The Great Pyrenees Anatolian Shepherd. Yeah, she's like the biggest lap dog ever. She just wants to sit on your lap and be right next to you. But
yeah,
it's
animals
adorable.
Just bring so much joy. I don't currently own an animal, but I do love felines and the dog species as well.
the canines.
Yeah, the canines. I
Canines
was hoping I would
and
come up with
felines.
that. I was trying to sound smarter than I is.
Smarter than he is. I own a feline and I have a fish, so my portfolio is not real impressive, but it works.
Yeah, we got
joy.
some cats too. They're adorable.
They're fun. They're fun as long as they're self-sustainable. You just put their food down and they kind of do their own thing.
So
they tell you what their schedule is.
The cats,
like,
yeah,
I'm ready for you today. I pencil you in.
Yeah, I think that'll work.
Yeah, I go over to Kevin's and the cat's hiding underneath the bed the entire time, doesn't want to meet me.
Yeah, my cat didn't like you too much.
Yeah. So I got shunned by his cat.
Sorry, bud.
Have you seen the movie Constantine with Keanu Reeves? It's like an
I have
older
not.
one. Okay, so
No.
So in that it's cool. It's about demons and all this other stuff. It's well done. But to enter into hell, the portal is by staring into the eyes of a cat. That's like, they had this thing where you put your feet in ice water and then you like stare into the eyes of a cat, and that will take you to hell. It was like this weird ritual, and that always like kind of stuck with me, like the whole, because cats are definitely of their own agenda, like you're saying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they'll pencil you in, and then they don't need you unless it's for food. That's all they want. Food and water.
That's pretty much it. My cat will come out and start bitching around 6, like, what's for dinner? And then, you feed him and he's like, all right, yeah, you're cool for a little bit. And now I'm going to go do my own thing. That's basically our relationship.
I got stuff going on tonight, man. I'm sorry, but
yeah. It's like,
I'm booked. Yeah.
That's what it is.
I'm going to like lay directly on your pillow. So
you can breathe in my dander.
I thought my schedule was open, but it just got booked.
Yeah. Really busy.
So Kevin, we were talking before we got the mics hot, and you're into rally racing, correct? Have you done rally racing or?
No, I like going. There's 100 Acre Wood Rally out here. It's in Salem. So I'll make the drive down there. I was going to go last year, and last second they said no spectators this year, and that sucked. I was so disappointed, but it's kind of weird because everybody just stands in the woods. So I'm like, what are spectators really? It's like literally the most unorganized racing sport there is when it comes to spectators. So people just go anywhere and stand in the woods. But yeah, no, I love that back roads, just going all out and all-wheel drive, turbocharged fun.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. I'm a big racing guy, like we were saying off air. NASCAR, drag racing, dirt. I mean, I love it all. I watch Travis Pastrana do a lot of rally. He's pretty much worn every hat in the racing arena.
He's one of my favorites.
Oh, he's a badass. I love watching everything he does. Ken Block's an animal of his own. I don't know if you watch his Gymkhana videos. You probably have.
That's what killed me this year. He showed up, like he announced like 3 or 4 days out, he was showing up to Salem to do rally in 100 Acre Woods. So it was Travis Pastrana, I think, took first, and then Ken Block was up there too on the podium. But I'm like, man, I missed that. Like, I could have volunteered. I could have went through all these hoops. I missed it. God, I suck.
Did you figure out those loopholes before? Probably after. You're like, oh shit. Or
no, it was like the week before when they announced there was no spectators, and they're like, well, you can apply still and help out with it. And I was like, yeah, but
then you're working.
I'm bringing my fiance with me, and she's not going to be like, oh yeah, let me help take down times. Oh boy, But yeah, no, we ended up taking a trip down to Eureka Springs and just kind of having a fun weekend. It was nice.
Yeah, you made the best of it. That's good.
Yeah.
I'd still like to see a rally race live. Never done that. Played a lot of the dirt games. Love watching on TV.
Oh, dirt's one of my favorites.
Oh, it's so good, man. It's so fun. Just getting out there and sliding, feeling, controlling something that's out of control. That's one thing I love about rally racing. And a lot of that translates over to NASCAR too. I mean, we've got a lot of guys that come from dirt, guys like Kyle Larson, Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson. These guys come over to asphalt, man. They apply that driving style, and they really set the competition to a different level, because they have that dirt experience.
And you know what grip feels like?
Mm-hmm.
Man, that hitting a turn, man, hitting that left turn. God, it feels so good.
And it's been.
But they don't have that all-wheel drive. Which, oh man.
That's
they're front wheel in NASCAR.
Rear wheel.
NASCAR's rear wheel, a lot of horsepower, no brakes. And so this year, I don't know if you've been keeping up with NASCAR this year, Trenton, but we've done 7 road courses, which is the most that NASCAR's ever done. In fact, we just came off the last 2 weeks was on road courses, which is great. A lot of right and left turns, create a lot of different, challenges for the drivers and stuff. Because a lot of people bitch, moan, and complain about it's only left turns. And then we put these guys on road courses, and you see how difficult it is to wheel around a 4,000-pound stock car with 850 horsepower, rear wheels, no grip. I mean, these guys are slipping and sliding, banging into each other. They can't get slowed up. I mean, it's like a short track race.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's fun to watch. You ever watch any rally cross?
Yes, that's epic too.
That's just rich man demolition derby, man. That's insane. Like it is just. You got to have money to go out there and destroy a car next to somebody else's car. It's insane.
Yeah, no kidding. Let's go take this $300,000 ride and just bash the hell out of it into something, or jump it.
Yeah, hopefully it's faster than yours.
Yeah.
How nice are these cars that they're driving in that?
Oh, they're topped out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's some topped out STIs and Focus RSs. I mean,
And
the
it's like a crash derby.
I mean,
Sort of.
so it's like rally or like a motocross where they race side by side
Okay.
and they go over the jumps and everything, but it's cars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts.
It's fun to watch, and I know the X Games took it on for a bit, and Travis Pastrana did that too. Of course, what hasn't Pastrana done when it comes to any kind of racing? I mean, the guy can do dirt biking. He even threw his hat in NASCAR for a while. Pastrana, he ran a truck.
Yeah.
He ran the Nationwide Series. You know, the guy will run anything, but I know that he did do a little bit of rallycross, and it's just fun to watch.
Yeah, so my uncle's in my uncle's in the Air Force, so I got fortunate enough to get in the pits one year, and it was like one of the last years he did a motocross, and I ran through a group of people, and I'm like, Travis Pastrana, and got to meet it. Like, it was like the briefest meeting ever. He's like, dude, I gotta go, and I was like, will you scribble on this? And he goes, TP, and like, I still have it. Like, oh, it's Travis Pastrana's scribble. He put it on here. Oh my God.
It's framed, you know.
Yeah, had to get that scribble.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, hey, it's something, you know. At least you get to have that interaction with them. I don't know how deep you go into motocross. Are you familiar with Brian Deegan? Probably.
Sounds familiar.
So Brian
Definitely.
Deegan he ran pretty much head to head with Travis Pastrana when they were young. So, you know, Deegan was the first to land a 360 in competition motocross. And then Pastrana was, I think, the first to land a backflip in that same event. Yeah. And so those guys were kind of always neck and neck. And now Brian's been retired for a while, but his daughter, Haley Deegan, is coming up into NASCAR. And that's who I've been keeping my eye on. Had a chance to meet her and her father here at Colorado National Speedway. I met Brian and Haley, and that's just a family of racing, man. Coming from dirt, taking it to asphalt, create some great drivers.
Kevin has always Kevin's pretty much met every single one of his idols.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like he's created the opportunity for himself to meet all these people, and I think that's cool that you went out and did that. I have never done that. You know, I don't think many people have done that.
Well, it's right place, right time. I mean, it was like, you know, you were in a position to meet Pastrana, right? Jeff Gordon was my guy growing up in racing. I mean, I grew up a Jeff Gordon diehard fan, and spent enough time at the racetrack. You know, I had an opportunity to kind of hang out with him.
My dad's friend years ago bought a Mustang off of Jeff Gordon.
Oh, really?
I remember that was cool as hell. Like, that thing was decked out. And he's like, well, showed me the title. I'm like, look at this. And I'm like, that is so cool. I was like only like 10. Oh my goodness. I'll stop barking. But yeah, no, that was crazy. That was so cool. I mean, I got a dirt bike when I was young, but never really got to race it. Just drove it like an idiot. So never really been into like the actual formal racing. But yeah, no, I love watching rally. NASCAR is fun too. I love going to the track. IndyCar, they do IndyCar out here in St. Louis at Gateway. That's incredible.
Yeah,
IndyCar is insane.
Track. IndyCar is nuts, and they're starting to partner up a little bit with NASCAR and split the weekend at the track. So like this past weekend, they ran at Indianapolis Motor Speedway the IndyCar series, and then NASCAR ran. So that's kind of cool.
The trucks, they run in the trucks.
They run the trucks. Yeah, all three series, and then IndyCar is pairing up with them too. So it makes sense because you're crossing over the sport, so IndyCar people can see NASCAR and vice versa.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, because both have their own appeal and pull, you could say. They're both interesting in different ways. And I know it was Kevin who taught me, but NASCAR has some of the largest amount of stats in any sport. Like baseball and NASCAR, I think, are the top two.
It's nuts when you really start to break it down.
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways to critique the sport and look at it, and that's what makes it fun for people who are diehard, because when you start opening it up, like there's so many different ways that you can analyze what you're looking at.
Well, it's an experience too, right, Trenton? I mean, just like you said, standing in the woods at rally is something I've always wanted to do. Like even playing those dirt games, when you see people just stand there, you're like, man, someone's gonna get nailed.
Dude,
that's part of the rush.
Insane. It is like you're literally standing next to a 20-foot wide dirt road, and then some dude comes around the corner in an STI doing 100 miles an hour sideways.
That's
You're
probably
like,
awesome.
oh
to
my
see in
God.
person.
And but the them hitting that clutch in, that exhaust, that turbo hitting you in the chest, you're like, wow, yeah, we're going, we're doing it. And those front runners come through, it is amazing. But like what gets me hooked, like what I can get people hooked, like taking them to the track, is taking them to it's the trucks. Like the Indy cars are cool. They're so aerodynamic. They come by, you don't even know it. They're loud, but they come by. But those trucks, the Hurricane, those poorly
Hurricane.
aerodynamic, like bring behind them of rubber and everything, and they just rain down on you. That like I brought so many people that are like, okay, this is cool because just the hurricane of rubber, it just comes at you. It's insane.
That's awesome. I've
It
never
is
heard that description of
insane.
the trucks before.
It's something you got to experience in person for sure. And the truck series is fun, man. It's just a fun, it's loud, it's intense. Like you said, it's not aerodynamically sound at all. It really shouldn't even be doing as fast as it is. But
Yeah.
you put 750 horsepower under it and let it rip tater chip, you're going to
Yeah.
spend some rubber.
Let that bad boy fly.
Yeah, no, the wind hits you and it hurts.
Yeah,
It's
that
great.
just makes you feel alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
With like cold beer in your hand, man. Cooler
Hell
than
yeah,
light,
brother.
cooler than hell. Cooler
That's
than
right.
hell. Cooler than a shirt with a pocket on it, man.
Speaking of that, I need
fantastic.
another beer.
Do you need one? Okay, he's gonna get up and get this. Here, I'll throw it to me. We keep rearranging the studio. Like when we originally moved in here, we wanted to just permanently position the cameras, but we always end up moving them anyways because the Zoom
Yeah.
call, people in here, more than one guest. It might always work out different. But yeah, man, it's been a good trip. Getting to know you and all these great talented people that you rub shoulders with. And man, I just really feel like if I could make one thing out of I don't know. I think like a cheesy, because we've been talking, okay, so there's this heated like
Hyped up
sandwich
on
battle.
cheese now.
Yeah, there's like this
Yeah.
sandwich battle hype.
Oh yeah, I'll let you fill them in.
That we haven't completed the sandwich battle yet, so we have all this time, and the competition is to make the best aesthetically pleasing looking sandwich to win, an anonymous vote. And so I like meaty, cheesy, melty. What's your favorite, like the best looking and best sandwich, would you say, in your mind?
Oh man, that's a tall order. The best sandwich in my so Cubanos are usually one of my go-tos because structurally they're just delicious. They got the mustard. I'm a sucker for mustard. So I'd say Cubano or Reuben. Both very like just very classic. Like we do one at the restaurant, but I do it with a beer braised pork belly for the Reuben. Make our own sauerkraut, so that way you get yeah. So the pork belly it's actually bacon. So I'll take the pork belly, cure it, smoke it. It takes like a week to do, and then after that, I braise it in some bush and a little bit of vinegar and garlic, and then do that for 3 hours. Cool it off, and then just use that for the Reuben. Horseradish mustard, honey chipotle mayo, and it's a solid Reuben. But that's a good one. That's a good one. Just trying to wrap my brain around other sandwiches.
I mean, because you have all the cold sandwiches out there too, which hit a sweet spot.
Yeah, and there's because the situation here, Trenton, and we've asked a lot of previous Hell's Kitchen chefs as well. We had Cody and Mary Lou and Corey weigh in on this situation. We're in a sandwich battle with another podcast here in Denver, and basically the parameters are kind of outlined it. We need to come up with something that is going to look good on social media because it's going to be this versus that, and people are going to vote, whose looks better. So what do you think, man, as far as making something it's going to be delicious? That's not going to factor in here. It has to look really presentable.
So how do you feel about just an incredible burger? Like a really well done, incredible burger. We do those I have to come up with a burger every Tuesday for the week at the restaurant. And those are just some monsters of like most of them you couldn't even imagine to get your mouth around them. But That's kind of the fun part about it. We call them slam burgers, so they're supposed to be like outrageous, a little bit raunchy. Like sometimes throwing gravy on them, brisket on them, cheese sauce, beer cheese, like just dousing them. So that's kind of like what we do. But they're always like incredible. Like the one I did this, I always try to come up with a name for them, so they're like kind of like Bob's Burgery. But you guys know Harry Potter, Salazar Slytherin from Harry Potter. So I'd call it the Salazar Smotherin.
Okay.
Okay.
Little play on words there. I see what you did.
Yeah. So like what I put: corn, black bean, salsa, avocado, onion, pork belly burn-ins, barbecue sauce, fried egg, and then pickled corn.
Damn, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, that sounds like a slammer for sure.
Yeah, no. So just like I'm all about I feel like a really good, tall, gorgeous, layered burger would be, because like burger is probably my favorite sandwich.
Now, is that
like
breaking the rules?
No, it isn't, because it's still considered a sandwich, right?
Yeah.
It's the parameters of a
bun,
sandwich.
meat,
Really,
cheese.
That's
true. Yeah, that's true. Like I feel like we're breaking the fourth wall right here.
Yeah.
That's a good introduction that we're gonna have to analyze here.
Yeah.
In this, because when you talk about what you can do with angles and how you take pictures of this shit and the way social media works, you can make this thing look epic.
Even my brother is the graphic designer. We could even like get it touched up, after the photo shoot.
Yeah, we wanted to gather all the
Give it a
intel
little
possible before we made this executive decision. But I really think we need to weigh in this burger situation, because we can go nuts with that. I'll tell you, I love a mushroom Swiss burger, Trenton. I know it's simple,
for sure,
but it's so good.
Oh man, that's one of my go-tos. Like if I go to Steak and Shake, they're portobello and Swiss. Oh man,
yes.
that's a good one. That's a good one. Hardee's has a good like when it comes to the fast food change. It's got Culver's.
Yeah, Culver's
Culver's has a really good mushroom and Swiss burger. For sure. But like, yeah, you could do like some smoked portobello on there, like smoke the portobello, add a little bit more depth flavor. Fry some onion straws, make it real big. Throw some like no, if you want to make it tall, but you're gonna need some color in there. So
that's true.
So
that's all very brown.
Maybe
cheesy.
the bacon is gonna set off some color.
Bacon, maybe some arugula. Arugula's peppery and delicious. You
don't throw pickles on a mushroom burger.
No, pickles aren't going to go with the mushroom and Swiss, but the arugula, I like
that. That is a good idea.
Arugula, garlic aioli. Throw a little bit of pepper in there, break it up so people know you got some seasoning in there. Oh man. You gotta, dude, I think you need some flair in your bun, like some type of cheese on top of that, or something to make the bun not just look like a bun. Like no sesame seeds, none of that. Like something else, some other type of bun there.
Flair it up a little bit.
Yeah.
That's going to be the key. That's really what's going to bring it all together is the bun. You're right, because you can't just go with some, local grocery store sesame seed bun, weak sauce shit. We need this thing shining.
Yeah, we're gonna have to customize the bun.
Morel. Throw some morel in that bun. Yeah, morel powder on top some.
What's morel?
Oh man. You know what? You guys know what morels are?
I don't.
No.
I don't.
Oh man. So like growing up. But yeah, no. So like morels are hyper seasonal mushrooms. Really like just a flavor powerhouse. Okay. They kind of like look kind of porous almost, but they only grow for like a few, like a month out of the year, and people will, like around the Midwest will go forage them because they're worth a lot of money. And growing up, we'd forage them. Like my dad would be like, "Oh, let's go get a bunch of morels," and we had like our spots to go mushroom hunting. We always joke like we're gonna go hunt some mushrooms, and really like hyper seasonal, incredible mushroom. Really, it's full of flavor. Yeah, my mom would soak them, deep fry them. Like, oh man, they're good.
Yeah, when I was young and my palate wasn't as explorative, like I didn't F with mushrooms. I wasn't really having it. But since I've gotten older and I've been eating mushrooms more, and when you cook with them, how much like they just bring all this different flavor out. And yeah, mushrooms are definitely up there for me.
Love them. Absolutely love them. And you're right.
I mean,
'Cause I talk to a lot of people that don't like them. It really is like it's an acquired taste. It might be a texture thing too for some
Yeah.
people, but ever since I was a kid, my dad always told me, he goes, son, eat the mushrooms, they'll put hair on your chest. So my dad used to tell me, and I don't know if it worked. I mean, I got some beef, but I don't know. All I can tell you is I like the mushrooms.
You know,
I think
That's
the
hilarious.
first like time I loved a mushroom was eating it, like going back to pizza, was on a pizza. I think it was like Pizza Hut pizza where they put the mushroom on top of the cheese.
Mhm.
I think that was like when I was like, oh man, mushrooms are good. Didn't like them
Oh,
before
yeah.
that. Yeah.
one of our Cajun friends. When we were in our young 20s, we all met Kevin, and there's like a group of 7 of us, and we all lived in the same apartment complex. So it was kind of like, you know, a dorm situation where somebody was always doing something. And we had the one Cajun friend, and he lived on the far north end. And one time he was doing like this spicy potato, mushroom, and other things, and he threw in this mix. And when I walked into his apartment, I literally had issues breathing because the amount of spice in the air was so palpable. No, like, and I couldn't hang out there that long. And that mushroom was the best tasting mushroom I have ever had. And I couldn't breathe the air that it was created in. It was amazing.
So you guys know Mary Lou, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So Mary Lou, so when I was in LA last week, Mary Lou, Cody, and Corey were out. And Mary Lou was making these mushrooms and onions like cooked in whiskey for the steaks. And when she put those red pepper flakes in that cast iron skillet, like right off the bat, me and Cody were dying in that kitchen, just dying. Like, oh my God, those are gonna be so spicy. They were not that spicy. But yeah, no, along the same lines, I was like, damn, those are gonna be hot. But no, they were delicious.
Sounds fantastic. I love mushrooms, man. Bringing it all back full circle. Mushrooms are so good.
Stuffed mushrooms.
Stuffed, fried,
Ooh,
you name it, dude. Yeah. Oh, the boomers.
Bring them on.
The boomers, man. Deep fried mushrooms get wild. But yeah, I mean, when you talk about our Cajun friends, man, because I love the Cajun style cooking too. So good. Those guys, you know, they season things up well. But I remember walking into some fucking crab and shrimp boils in those guys' house, and you couldn't breathe the air because there was so much seasoning.
Mm-hmm.
Then New Orleans folks get down.
yeah, they like that seasoning.
I mean,
I did a
Tony's-
crawfish boil first time, probably like a month and a half ago. I never really had fresh crawfish. So I found some fresh crawfish, did that. When that thing got boiling, like you're saying, I put that Louisiana packet in there.
Couldn't
Choked.
breathe.
I don't have a hood in my kitchen. I was like, man, this is bad. It's like napalm in the air.
It's like 3 days later, your cat is still in hiding or whatever.
There's one time I made a habanero barbecue sauce before I went to culinary school. I was like, oh, I'm gonna make habanero barbecue sauce, spicy barbecue sauce. It's gonna be great. Blended it up, boiled it in the vinegar. Got up the next morning. All my houseplants were dead.
Oh no!
What?
It killed all my houseplants. I don't know if it was the vinegar, if it was the spiciness.
So what?
But
Like
like-
the air became acidic or something? And
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I woke up the next
Wow.
day and all like my herbs on the shelf just dead. Like
Huh.
that was like
Wow.
overnight. That was unreal.
I don't know if I've ever seen that happen.
I don't
can see
even
why,
know
though.
the science behind it.
Yeah.
I don't even know the
either.
science behind it.
You
But it
have
happened.
ghosts. You have ghosts.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. No, like I have that, ridiculous, fear at times though. Like you hear something and like you're kind of wondering, like I've always kind of been curious, like, are you right there? Like is the ghost like messing with me? And like it's always on the verge, and I'm always kind of like thinking about that stuff, and I try to bring it back, and be like, okay, no, like I got this, it's all good. I mean, that's just an irrational fear,
Well, I
So
mean,
you ever watch the
irrational
show
fear.
Ghost Adventures?
oh yeah,
Or what
that's-
show
yes.
goes
it's a fun show. It's a fun show.
That's like if I'm like wanting to just shut my brain off at the end of the day, that's the show I watch.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's been like that for a minute. It's like my fiance will turn on Friends or something, just something to have on in the background. Like I'm gonna turn on Ghost Adventures so I can hear Zach Biggins, Billy, Billy, you know, like in the background. Oh, it's so funny. Oh, did you feel that? Oh, I feel it too. You feel it? Oh, I feel it. It's so funny. It's so funny. It's entertaining.
That is funny. So
yeah.
you believe in ghosts then, or you believe in ghosts?
I mean, yeah, I definitely think there's more than we know. I don't know like entirely about ghosts, but I think there's something. There's got to be something weird going on with energy. But
So have you ever
you know,
had like a moment or time where
Paranormal activity.
yeah, you really questioned what was going on?
so there's one time I'm like, I was 15, and I just moved into my grandma's house, and we're in my grandma's house. I'm sitting on the toilet, only one upstairs, door wide open. Door wide open. I see somebody in my room walk through my room. I'm like, oh, somebody's probably my sister or somebody's upstairs, but I'm like sitting there like, okay, cool, whatever. Go in there. There's nobody in the house. And I'm like, who was just in there? But I watched them walk into the closet of the room, and I'm like, okay, well, what the hell was that?
So
and I went in there, and I could not find. There's nobody there. None. That was one of the freakiest things ever happened in my life. But it was like a black shadow of a person
out
just
of the
walking.
corner of your eye, like you didn't.
No,
quite
it was
see or-
dead. It was dead. Like I was dead staring at it. Like I was looking out the door, and I watched somebody walk through there, and I was like, that was weird. What was that? Who is that in there? And that was one of the creepiest things that happened. Was my brother, when he stayed in the room, he talked about the bed vibrating. Well, my sister's told me some, like, not even known those stories, has told me similar things now. She lives in that room, like
So
in the middle of
she's
the
there
night. So
she's there currently.
yeah, and she's like, yeah, you know, stuff like that'll happen. Yeah, like I'm sitting there playing Modern Warfare 2. Give you a time. Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2,
Great game.
and like the you know, fantastic game. And
you're a gamer. I could go off on that for like 45 minutes.
And the fan next to me just like flies into the hallway, and I'm like, okay, this house is not, you know, it's a creepy house. Always hearing stuff. Ooh.
Yeah, I think it's there. I think things are there, you know?
Yeah.
There's just too
It's
many
spooky.
mathematical uncertainties. I mean, so that's where it's kind of fun. I used to get really creeped out when I'd watch like Paranormal Activity or some of these, you know, kind of ghost shows and stuff. But now it is kind of entertaining. And, you know, after a long, hard day, why not? You know, let's unwind and watch some ghost adventures. I haven't dialed into that show in a minute.
Oh, you need to watch when you go home.
I might have to. Yeah. Well, I'm caught up on Hell's Kitchen. You know, I got all the way caught up last night. My girlfriend and I watch that every Monday night when it drops. And then she likes to put on the murder mysteries, and that's usually what I fall asleep to, is like Dateline and shit. So
okay. As I said, what are you watching? What kind of murder mysteries you watch?
yeah, she's real into the Dateline stuff. Evil Lives Here. You know, Web of Lies. I mean, it's just not stuff that I would typically put on. But I've just gotten conditioned to when I fall asleep, I'm going to have some person narrating a very horrific scene to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
her husband was in the back room. He was not the suspect. You're like, oh, he did it. He did it. But oh, he did it. You're like, okay, cool. Yeah. Figure that out.
Yeah, totally, man.
Pretty straightforward.
So
you nailed it.
You were saying like some things have happened at your place.
I mean, I've seen some. I mean, I feel like, yeah, Paranormal Activity I think is real. I don't really know how to analyze it live action because I've usually been drinking when I see it. So I'm like, is it real or is it not?
Yeah.
Most of the time it feels real. It depends on who you talk to. Some people think you're fucking nuts.
That's true.
Some people want to hear more about
well,
it.
you kind of are a little.
I mean, who knows?
Oh, that was the initial reaction when I was like, hey, Dad, I saw something in Grandma's house walk through the wall, and I just saw it. And he's like, go to bed. I'm like, oh, sweet. Thanks, man. I'm freaking out, but yeah, you're right. I should probably go to bed in that room right now. Perfect.
So
I'm not gonna think about it at all.
A house that we moved into from inner city Denver to like rural Parker, like 10 miles east of Parker, Colorado. There's like these little twigs above every single doorway, every garage, every door entry in the house, because they had these people come out and like basically get rid of the spirit. And they determined that the spirit was there from the pioneering days when Native Americans and that whole warfare was happening. and he left to hunt, and he came back and his family was scalped. And so like he died there and the spirit stayed, and that house was the closest one to it, so I don't know. That was always a different property that gave you different vibes at times. Like I would be
Just
out
the
there.
story makes that terrifying.
Yeah, and it gets super
Having
dark.
a background makes it terrifying.
Yeah, it was, but I feel like the spirit was nice. Like it never meant me wrong because I was like a younger kid and maybe, reminded him of a child or something. But there'd be moments where, because it was super dark, 5 acres, and so when the lights are off and you're like walking from the barn up, it's just super dark out there, and I would always feel like there was like something kind of close by,
It's an eerie feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're being watched almost. Yeah,
It's fun to think about though, and people will pay top dollar to stay in places.
probably the birds.
Yeah, that's the birds.
It was the birds watching.
It ties back into the birds, man.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's a huge market for it. People want to stay in a place like that. Here in Colorado, we have the Stanley Hotel where The Shining was filmed. Dude, people will pay ridiculous money to stay there. The local news did an article on it not long ago of somebody that took a picture outside of the Stanley Hotel and showed, a weird figure in the window, and then the next photo was gone, and they go nuts with it. But people love that kind of stuff. It's a huge tourist kind of attraction, haunted bed and breakfast, what have you.
Yeah, no, down in I was talking about Eureka Springs earlier. They have the Crescent Hotel. It's supposed to be like in the area. It's like the most haunted place ever. And remember the show Ghost Hunters with Taps? They went there. Like I remember watching it as a kid, and they went there and they got like a full apparition of like a guy from like the Civil War. But the guy, like, I think it was like, it might be 1900s, late 1800s. They did a cancer treatment facility. They turned the hotel into that, and he would just inject them with dirty spring water, and it'd kill most of these people. But that was like what they did there for years. So there's tons of agony, tons of like pain and suffering. So the place just feels marked. Like people died building it. Like it's an eerie place to be, and it's spooky as hell because it's like in the Ozarks, it's on the side of a mountain at the top. It's a spooky hotel.
I know. I've never had the cojones to go stay in a known haunted location, and go spend the night there to try like in like an old mental asylum or something. Like,
yeah,
there's no way I'm gonna go do that.
See,
I would do it, but I wouldn't sleep.
Yeah, you wouldn't sleep.
I would definitely I'm skeptical enough of like really anything happening that I would just be like, all right, I'm game for it. And also I sleep like a rock. So like once I'm out, like that thing doesn't want to hear me snoring. I snore so loud.
Like goes to the other side of the building. Like I have got to get away from this man.
Yeah, the demon's like, oh man, this guy. Yeah, this guy over here, man.
Yeah, I guess it really, because your mind is so powerful. The whole saying perception is reality. It's true. Like what you're thinking in that moment is creating the reality around you. And if you let your thoughts just run away with some stuff, like it's easy to get caught up in that, And so going into it with like a different perception, that changes the whole game, it really does.
Sometimes I wonder, like watching, Ghost Adventures. You go in these places. Oh, the one we watched the other day. It's one of the newer ones. It's a costume store, so it's all like demonic costumes and everything. And like, oh, there's demons here. I'm like, do you think just let the demons be? Like, do you think they feel comfortable there? They're like, oh, I feel at home. People want to dress like me. Like, I get to be around people who embrace me. And you guys are in there like, oh, come out, demon. Like, yeah, it can't be like these ghosts have got to have like some type of feelings about where they're at. Like, oh, I feel comfortable here. Don't be like this to me. If they're really as intelligent as some people think they are, there's got to be some validity to that.
Yeah,
I think so.
That's a good way to look at it too. It's like, hey, what are these guys thinking? What's really going on here? Because everyone just has a preconceived notion of, oh, spooky. Well, wait a second.
What are they cooking?
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, maybe.
What are they making for dinner?
Yeah, what are they eating on?
Yeah, how you getting?
How good is ghost meat?
Yeah.
How good is ghost meat?
Ghost meat tacos.
I know ghost pepper makes my mouth burn and my eyes water.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
That's like the one tangible thing you see floating into a pan, ghost pepper. Oh, sweet.
You're
What
like,
they're eating.
you're just hanging out in there. You're like, man, that spice in the air is just ridiculous. I'm gonna have to get out of
Smells
here.
It smells like mushrooms, and there's just a pepper in the pan. Oh, they're ghost shrooms. I get it.
Ghost shrooms.
Oh, that's funny. Only grow at midnight on a full moon.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That's funny. So we do like to ask people because here at Discussion Combustion, Kevin and I have opened up about a lot of personal things, and we like to do our best to help humanity a little bit each week as much as we can. And so we like to ask people, if you had a piece of advice to give to humanity to help everybody be better people tomorrow, what would be the main piece of advice you'd give?
Oh man, that's a great question. Well, I mean, I'd have to say just like understand everybody's perspective and where they come from. Like, honestly, that's where I came from was like virtually nothing. Like, when I moved to the St. Louis area from Arkansas, really, really not good situation to be in. Got exposed to a lot of things really young. It's like persevere and like understand other people's perspective. Like, don't knock people for having a, because it happens. It happens. That's a tough question, man. That's a really tough question. But yeah, just accept people for who they are and like understand everybody's perspective. Try like take a minute to understand where people are coming from. You can learn a lot.
Yeah, I can see how that's really difficult too, because everybody's so familiar with their own thought process, of course, and their own life. And it's difficult to remind ourselves sometimes to take a moment before making a judgment or thinking that stereotype is true. It's kind of, you have to remind yourself to, look at it a little bit differently, because everybody can deserve that. And everybody, if people around the world could get a level of acceptance and neutrality toward each other, I mean, some things are unforgivable though, of course, like you have war crimes and like concentration camps. So it's like, there's always a line to draw in the sand somewhere, but in general, I feel like, give the perspective.
But even with the war crimes, like everybody thinks they're right. Everybody thinks they're the good guys. Everybody just take a minute to think what's actually going on and trying to fish it out. Like, why'd you miss work yesterday? Like, really tell me what's going on at home. Just little things like that. There's a lot you can get from that, and like just the personal understanding helps you grow personally so much, like leaps and bounds when it comes to interacting.
It does.
With anybody.
Solid advice, man. Solid advice. It's just, it really circles back to just, hearing people out, see what's going on. We live in a time where we are a little bit divided and isolated at the moment, but man, it's times like this where we can sit down over a Zoom chat and have a chat and just really see what's going on in other people's lives, and maybe lend an ear, give some advice, just be there for people. We need it more than ever. So I think that's solid.
I like that.
Yeah, crazy time to have to live, man.
It really
crazy
is.
time. Like what our kids are going to have to live through is going to be even crazier. So like what we're going through now and like what kids are going through these days and having to like kids consuming social media and having ideologies of what reality is terrifying to have to think about. Like I'm 26, but to think about what I thought reality was, and then to think about what I have a 17-year-old that lives with me, my fiance's sister, and to think about what she's going through in high school and like what she has to deal with and how it's just ever changing, and how like what kids' brains consume ultimately decide how they navigate what happiness is. And like everybody's pushing towards finding what happiness is, but nobody wants to like take a minute to realize like that gratitude's a currency for that. They think that like immediate gratification is what's going to make them feel better, or like a share, like just a simple things like that is what they'll seek, not like just being grateful for what they have today, or using their their gratefulness is the currency for happiness, not necessarily immediate reward. That's something I've been like trying to hone in on. It's crazy. It's such a media rich world we live in, and the kids are just going to consume more of it as it becomes more readily available and more easier and designed to be more easier to consume. It's crazy.
I mean, they want to put Bluetooths in your head and stuff. And honestly, if they could put a Bluetooth in my head and I can control a computer and type by not even touching a keyboard, and it's proven, that would be kind of cool.
That would be pretty sweet. I'm all about that. I'm terrible.
But then they're in your head.
Pecking.
Yeah. But then I wonder if you just think it and it spells it correctly. Like, how would that work? But no, to tie it back in, sorry, I get all drawn off.
No, man, I'm all about Cool Ranch Dorito chips in my head.
Oh, man, you gotta. But yeah, having a different perspective by trying to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, I think that's something we can, believe is definitely a healthy outlook, and especially with what you're talking about with social media. Because that's such a huge part of everybody's lives, children the most, but even people like us that grew up without it, it's affecting our lives. So, achieve, having a mentality to where you're not going to let all that affect you so much, because if you put yourself in the perspective of everybody else who's putting their best foot forward, then that's not something to compare your life to all the time. So that's kind of how I'm going to tie that into a believe and achieve this week. Like, put yourself in another perspective and achieve understanding through that perspective. And that way you're not comparing your life in a negative way because you think other people's lives are better.
And part of that becomes your DNA too, like part of that. Like I went to LA to learn Italian food and learn where they come from. Food is perspective. And that was kind of the fun part about that, is learning like having the chef come up to me like, it's pork neck salami is like what I grew up eating. Like, this is amazing. So I'm like trying to have those same emotions that this guy has for this, that lives 3,000. Like, this is his home's 3,000 miles away, but this piece of shaved salami is what brings him home. Like it transcends food. It transcends everything, perspective.
That is true.
That's what Ratatouille's about. That's what Ratatouille's about.
That's a good point.
Antoine eats it and he's like, perspective. That's why he loves the food. Reminds him of eating his grandma's ratatouille growing up. So
that's so true.
It's a good point, man. And perspective is reality, and that's where we're at. So, let's be conscious of it.
Absolutely. Man, what a great chat. Really quick. Where are all the places where people can access you? And we'll leave links for this stuff too, but where's all the best places for people to find you?
Check me out. I got my Instagram, chef_Trent Garvey. I got my Facebook, Chef Trent Garvey. I'm trying to get a website up this next week, so looking forward to that. Got some merch on there. I will get you guys that later because we're still working on it, me and Alicia. But yeah, we're getting that knocked out and getting that live so we can sell some sweet shirts for Hell's Kitchen. We're 11 episodes in. Next week's gonna be 11 episodes, so looking forward to it.
I know you can't tell us anything about that, but man, what a crusher. It's been a pleasure talking with you and kind of opening up your, everything you've been through. It's been a pleasure getting to know you. And on that note, everybody,
be good to yourselves. Deserve it.